This is an English early 19th century mahogany ship's cabinet. We'll get on to why we think it's for a ship in a little bit. But let's just have a quick look at the whole. So you've got a nicely figured panel of mahogany here. It's accentuated by this ebonized moulding just to the panel, which kind of lifts it nicely. Now it's got three hinges to give it some strength. We've got rounded ends, both sides, and these are actually little cupboards as well. Now if we open it, the floor comes down and you've got these lovely brass quadrant supports which will hold it. Now it's not strong enough for you to rest your elbow on and work. It's not going to take that sort of weight. It was never made for that. But for you to rest something on, put some papers on, perhaps write, then that should certainly be strong enough. And if you don't have enough space, well, you can extend it out a little bit. And of course, on board a ship's cabin, you don't have much space at all. So the more that you can utilise that, the better it is for you. Now, we've got one divider to the interior. We've also got this funny little box, which on first viewing doesn't make sense. You think, well, maybe that's some sort of secret compartment or something. Well, it is. Not so secret because it's not hidden. But of course, the secret is, how do you get into it? There's no obvious buttons or anything, or levers anywhere to get into it. Simply, you push that side, and there you go. Let's have a little bit of a closer look in there so you can see the mechanism. So you can see you've got a tooth here, which locks in down here. You've got a steel spring bar here, which lifts the top up suddenly when the tooth is released, and you've got another steel spring here, which you push against here to release the tooth, and down here you've got a nice mitered joint to tidy up there. So if we put that down again and open it, there you can see it releases nicely. So you wouldn't have much storage space in there, but you might be able to put some money or a love letter or whatever you're going to do. So that's a secret compartment. Now, with the cupboard unlocked, we can access the buttons to release these two little cupboards on the sides. So you've got a little brass sprung button here beneath the quadrant. Press that and that swings open nicely. Same for the other side, swings open a little bit quicker. And you've got brass fittings here to release that. So let's have a closer look at that as well. So you can see the brass button here to release the cupboard door, and also you can see how beautifully made this panelled cupboard door is. Again, you've got a nice choice of mahogany for the centre of the panel. You've got this little bit of moulding to the edge to hold it in, very nicely shaped and cut, and the brass fittings really, really nicely done. You can also see the quadrant here to hold your little ball, and brass fittings here as well to hold in your board to extend it. Let's go around to the other side of the cupboard. So you can see the tooth here. If I press the button, it'll go in and out, and that fits just into this brass plate here. You've got another piece of brass here which goes against this piece of steel which forms a spring to release it. So let's show you again how that opens. There, lovely, isn't that beautiful? So you couldn't fit an awful lot in there, but you're fighting for space in a tiny cabin on board ship. So any storage space that you can utilise, the better it is for you. And again, with the cupboard shut, you can see the nice panel with the ebonised moulding just to lift it there. Right, so let's close it up again now. Just shut that cupboard door. So not only have you got everything that's going on inside this cabinet, but you've also got a very useful shelf up here. And of course, when you're fighting for space, as we've discussed already, in quite a small ship's cabin, an extra shelf is very useful. And perhaps if you're a collector of Royal Navy rum measures, you could use it to display those. But I did tell you that there's a reason why we believe this was made for use on board ship. So let's get into that. At the back here, we have got two steel hooks on long racing bars that are fixed to the back. And what they do is to allow you to lift this off and move it quite quickly. It's not screwed to a bulkhead. You wouldn't have to spend time unscrewing the cabinet to move it. All you have to do is lift it up off the hooks and you can move it downstairs below to stow it while you're busy fighting. And now looking at the back of it, you can see these long steel hooks, which really do offer an awful lot of support when this is hanging. Now we've got a very clever cabinet maker restorer who came up with the idea for this hanging board for modern use. And he's made it with these cutouts to take the steel bars, and you've also got a piece of metal just slotted in here to add a little bit of strength against the hook, cut out at the back as well so it'll hang over. So you can screw this onto your wall, get it nice and level, and then just simply hang this and it'll really support it giving it an awful lot of strength up there. It's not going to move. A really clever idea from him. So there you go. That's an early 19th century mahogany ship's cabinet, or desk cabinet if you like. And of course it's one of my favourites in the shop at the moment. But then if you watch a lot of these videos, you'll know that when it comes to campaign furniture, I seem to have an awful lot of favourites.